What's up, NIO family? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And this I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla SPY, and the overall markets. And break down some news coming out involving President Trump and China, and also what's happening with our economic calendar moving forward. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or use my QR code right here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia plus $100 cash reward. Deposits $10,000 or more to get $300 worth of Nvidia plus $100, or deposits $50,000 or more to get $1,000 of free Nvidia stock plus $100. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on invested cash. And the offer ends very soon, so please use my link down below to sign up. Anyways, looking at NIO, we have a nice bullish divergence so far, and we're favoring the upwards direction. We have a gap to fill back up towards 7.15. As long as we're above 7.05, we're going to be favoring more upside. As long as we don't lose 6.91, we're going to be continuing to favor that upwards direction. We have a bullish divergence and a nice accumulation right over here, and there is potential to push back up towards that 7.16 area. I do think we could be going a bit higher. It's also because the overall market alongside Tesla are trying to push, and I think we're getting some good news. So Mizuho gave NIO a neutral rating so far. And our price price ratio did dip quite a bit last week as the market saw some downside. Now it's going to try to bounce. And besides that, there's not really a whole lot of other pieces of news coming out for NIO. GIC did sue them because they claim that their revenue has been inflated. But other than that, NIO has been trying to bounce with the market. There was a big outage going on with AWS or Amazon Web Services, which was affecting a lot of brokerages, a lot of applications, websites today. Hopefully, much of those issues will be solved by tomorrow. So we're going to wait and see what happens. And then when it comes to President Trump, he has many demands for China to avoid a 100% tariff next month, calling for more U.S. soybean purchases and a lot of other actions to be taken. That's what President Trump has been saying. He also threatened the possibility of a 155% tariff as well on China. But once again, he also said that this will not be sustainable in the past. This is just another negotiation tactic. So that is a bit of an update. At the same time, President Trump will be meeting up with Xi Jinping, and he claims they're going to have a fantastic deal. You're meeting up in a couple of weeks in South Korea, so that's some big news. Keep that in mind. Another negative piece of news is that the government shutdown is continuing. It's not really affecting the market way too much in terms of like a direct effect. It does affect us in a way, though, where it affects the payments of hundreds of thousands of federal workers. It affects millions of Americans and lots of services. And then another big issue is that a lot of data is still delayed, not really coming out. Not the best for the markets as well. So we'll see what that leads to. When it comes to our economic calendar, there's not really much coming out. We just have Waller from the Fed giving a speech tomorrow, and that's it. There's not really much data. We do have, I believe, our CPI data on Friday, and that's pretty much it. Besides that, there's not really much else that's coming out. NIO is also talking about their ET9, which is getting a lot of attention. That is once again what we're seeing on their X page, and that's pretty much it. There's not really anything else I'm saying that's too significant. And for earnings, tomorrow morning we have Coca-Cola alongside Netflix. Then we have Tesla's earnings on Wednesday, which is going to be a big one. So be ready for some high volatility with all of this coming out. For NIO, we look pretty good right now. We have a nice looking accumulation. As long as we don't lose 6.91, I think we're going to be favoring a push for this 7.2 area to fill this gap. And then we could be going a little bit higher temporarily on NIO. So I see some upside potential for 7.25 to 7.4. And we'll see if we reject from there, but there is upside potential. SPY and the QQQ, they are testing some tough resistance. I think that SPY is going for the all-time high near 674. So now it looks like we go a little bit higher. But then be very careful once we get there. We could be looking for this rising wedge to pan out. If we break 674, we continue. But I think we go a little bit higher. Then we're going to see if this rising wedge pans out or not. So be very careful. Same thing with the QQQ. Now the QQQ is showing some tough resistance at this 613 area. If we break this, we're going for 615. But if we reject, the rising wedge will take us back down towards 604 to fill that gap. So be careful as we test resistance. This is kind of choppy right now, and I do see a risk of this turning down if we can't break 613. So I think there is a risk of us getting a rejection. I think that the Russell is going for 215. Then we'll see if it rejects off that. ES is going to be going for close to 6,800. I think it goes a little bit higher, but then I would be very careful in case we get some kind of rejection, which is where this resistance zone happens to be. We've gotten lots of rejections near 6,800. I think we go a bit higher, and then we're going to be looking for a potential rejection, possibly. For NQ, we're going for 25,400. We'll see if we reject off that and turn back down. So I would recommend being very careful. Bitcoin, it has resistance right over here at this trend line. If that breaks, we're looking for 114,000. We'll see if we turn from there or not. Tesla, once again, has a nice inverse head and shoulders. It looks bullish to me. As long as we don't lose 439, we're going to be favoring 415, 455. So we'll see how that goes. Nvda is also range bound right here. We have resistance at 183.85, and we have support down here at 180. So we'll see if we dip closer to like 180 before it tries to bounce. There is some downside risk though, since it's struggling to break above our EMAs. Could be looking for a retracement back down to 180. Aapl, we basically have the support way down here. We're looking for essentially 260 as our support. Then we'll see if we bounce or not. This might be dipping to 260, and we'll see if buyers defend. So be very, very patient. On AMD, we're technically on an uptrend. As long as we don't lose 232, we're going to be favoring 250 as our target. For Coinbase, we have this support to watch for right down here at 338. Could be dipping towards this, and we'll see if we bounce or not. But there is some downside risk. Amazon, however, looks more bullish. Even despite the outage, we are looking for 218 as a potential target. Meta has tough resistance at 733. We need to break this to continue. But notice between 733 and 737, we got lots of rejections in the past. So it might pop here and turn back down towards 725. So be very careful in case we reject. Google's on a bit of an uptrend. We might continue to uptrend for basically 258, and we'll see how it turns. And then Microsoft is also favoring upside. As long as 515 does not break, we could continue to push for 518. So that being said, the VIX still looks a bit more bearish. It might be dipping a little bit more for 17.39 as the stock market pushes for all-time highs. However, at the all-time highs, we've gotten lots of rejections, so I still think SPY goes a little higher now by 2 points. I think the QQQ could go a little higher to test the all-time high, just a tiny bit higher, another 1 to 3 points. But then with the rising wedge and such forming on all these setups, I'd be very, very careful to see in case we get a rejection or not. NIO, however, is going to go a little bit higher most likely, so I still think 7.25 plus is coming. So look for some upside for now, and we'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget that Tesla has earnings, and that what Tesla announces could also affect NIO to some extent. In case we get some news involving their sales, what they're projecting, and such. So with Tesla approaching earnings, I think this could also benefit NIO and a lot of EVs. And I think that right now NIO is going to try to bounce after seeing so much downside for the last couple of weeks with all the negative sentiments between the US and China. So that is some good news. Let's see if this bounce continue. And I think it's going to be at least a temporary move, and we'll just play the chart in front of us. Anyways, that's it for this one. Please have a good rest of your guys' day, nights, or evenings, wherever you guys are around the world. I'll be back with another update very, very soon. Thank you for listening, and peace out.